Good day, everyone, wherever and whatever time you are listening to us. First of all, thank you for joining us first trial class of corporate reporting, and that is for November 2025 session, basically. That is our first trial class, and after that, we are going to start our regular classes, basically. If you want to contact, then you can discuss with my team. These are basically the contact details. And here we have my email address. So these are the contact details. You can reach out to me and my team. So let's start. These are the contents of our corporate reporting exam, basically. We have different subjects: assurance, audit, reporting, and ethics, basically. What is the proportion of each component? Now let's have a look. These are some areas. If I talk about corporate reporting, then we have three areas to cover. First of all, we have reporting section. It includes your corporate reporting compliance as well as your financial statement analysis, basically. And the proportion of both of these components is around 55 to 65%. But if we talk about audit and assurance, that is the second component, its proportion is around 30% to 40%, basically. 30 to 40% is the second component, audit and assurance. Ethics, that is basically the third component. Its proportion is around 5 to 10%. 5 to 10%. So in a nutshell, we have three components: reporting side, audit side, and ethics side as well. These are three components. If we talk about individually, what is included in corporate reporting and what is included in audit and assurance, now let's have a look on the syllabus of ICAEW. Before we look at the syllabus, now let us look at the different levels, basically. What do we mean by each level? ICAEW, any topic, any syllabus area has been divided into 4 levels. Any level, what do you mean by each level? Now let's have a look. Level D. Level D means awareness of scope of a standard. So awareness of scope of standard, it means you need just basics, very, very basics, just having a small overview. That is basically the awareness of any standard or any topic. If I talk about level C means you need some knowledge, some general knowledge, some basic knowledge and understanding of any particular topic. So that is level C. Level B means a working knowledge. It means you need a good amount of knowledge and you also need a broad understanding of your subject. That is basically level B. And if I talk about level A means you need thorough knowledge and a solid understanding, basically. So in level A, what you need comprehensive knowledge, basically. You need comprehensive knowledge. So according to the levels, you should plan out your time, how much time you should spend on each topic, basically. Level D, little bit amount of time. Level C, small amount of time. Level B, a very good amount of time. And level A as well, you should also spend a very good amount of time or a significant amount of time on the topics which are at level B and at level A as well. First of all, you must have an idea how much time you should spend, and then accordingly, you should start your preparation. First of all, we will talk about the reporting side, and then we will go to the audit section. In financial reporting, what we have on my left-hand side, we have list of topics. In the middle of page, we have certificate and professional level. And on my right-hand side, we have advanced level as well, basically. Starting with very basic, that is basically refers to international financial reporting standards and conceptual framework for financial reporting. Basically, both of them are at A level. IAS 1, presentation of financial statement. You should be familiar with how we have to present our financial statements basically, and you must be a skilled person. You must be an expert person basically. One thing that we should assume in our mind is this: examiner does not assume like you have some experience at this point when you are appearing in corporate reporting and SVM exam basically. Because some candidates might have experience, some candidates might not have experience. So paper setter, your examiner have this assumption in mind, and your paper is set, this paper is defined on this base. You may or may not have experience. So whenever I use this term of skilled base or experience base, so please do not confuse yourself. IS2, that we know, that is basically about inventories. What is inventory? How we have to record the inventory, initial recognition, and so on. IES 7, statement of cash flows. IES 8, accounting policies, changing in accounting estimates and errors. IES 10, events after the reporting period. If something happens before a year end, but its impacts are after the year end, so what we need to do? IES 12, income taxes, deferred tax, implications of deferred tax on different transactions. IES 16, property, plant, and equipment. IES 19, employee benefits. What are employee benefits? How many types of employee benefits do we have? What about short-term benefits, long-term benefits, post-employment benefits like pension, different schemes of pension, defined contribution scheme, defined benefit scheme? What, what about accounting implications of these schemes? Then we have IAS 20, government grants basically. How we can record our government grants basically. What is the difference between government grant and government assistance? Is there any difference? Yes, there are a lot of differences between government grant and government assistance. Then moving forward, IES 21, foreign currency, the effects of changes in foreign exchange rates. Then we have IAS 23, borrowing costs. For example, if we take financing from any financial institution and we want to construct any asset, so the interest costs, the finance cost of that loan, either it would be expense out or it would be capitalized. So there is the capitalization criteria defined by IAS 23. If your asset meets out that criteria, if your loan meets out that criteria, then you can record your finance cost as a part of an asset. Otherwise, it would be expensed out in your P&L statement. Then we have IES 24, related party disclosures. Basically, what are related parties? What kind of transactions we can have with related parties and how we have to disclose them. Because it has been observed some related parties might not be interested in disclosing their relationship, in disclosing their transactions during the year. But according to IAS 24, it is very important to disclose these transactions in your financial statements. So where financials can present true and fair view. IES 26, accounting and reporting for retirement benefits plan. IES 27, separate financial statements. IAS 28, investments in associates and joint ventures, basically. What are associates? What are joint ventures? What are differences between associates and joint ventures? Then IAS 29. IAS 29 is basically about IAS 29 is basically about hyperinflationary environment, basically. For example, if there is a too much inflation in any country, so what you need to do, how you need to record it out. What about the transaction? How you are going to record the transactions of a country which is suffering from hyperinflation. So this topic, IS 29, is at D level. You need just basic awareness. Similarly, IS 26, that is accounting for retirement benefits plan, that is in a continuity of IS 19, it is also at a D level. So for these two topics of IS 26 and IS 29, you need just basic overview. You need an understanding, small understanding basically, and not a comprehensive overview, like how they would be recorded, how they will be measured initially and subsequently, how they are going to be disposed of. No, you should not. Then we have IS 32, financial instruments, and that is for presentation. Then IAS 33, earnings per share. IAS 34, interim financial reporting. IAS 36, impairment of assets, basically. If any asset is impaired, then how you are going to record it out. What is impairment, basically? What is impairment? How we can record an impairment? How we can record an impairment on asset? How we can record an impairment on any CGU. CGU is cash generating unit. How we can record? IS 37, that is for provisions, contingent liabilities, and contingent assets, basically. What is the difference between provision and contingent liability? IS 38, intangible assets. IS 39, financial instruments, basically. Recognition and measurement. It includes just the hedging portion, because in IFRS 9, we are going to talk about financial instruments in a comprehensive manner. What about ECL, expected credit loss? How we are going to record them? What about impairments? What about derecognition? So in financial instruments, we are going to cover all of these topics basically, as I stated. Then we have IAS 40, investment property, basically. What is investment property? How this investment property is recorded in your financial. Let's suppose we have a property. If we have a property, then people normally think this property could be classified according to IAS 40, but no. In ICAEW advanced level, its usage will determine the IAS, relevant IAS or IFRS. For example, if this property is for resale purposes, then what standard would be applied? Anything that is held for resale purposes, it is classified according to IAS2. Any property that is held for capital appreciation, That is for IAS 40. Depending upon the usage. If usage of your asset is going to vary, then definitely your accounting treatment, your entire accounting treatment is going to be changed. So please, you have to be careful, and simply you should not say if there is a property, so we have to apply the IAS 40 or IAS 16 or any particular standard. It will depend upon the usage of that asset basically. IAS 41, agriculture. What is agriculture? What are biological assets basically? What are biological assets? How we have to record those biological assets? Normally, initially we are going to record our assets on cost, but in IS 41, biological assets, we record them initially at fair value. Initially at fair value, and that is basically an exception to other standards basically. So how you can record them at fair value? How you can determine the fair value of biological assets? That includes plants and animals basically. So we are going to talk about their accounting treatment, and these are at level D. So agriculture, this topic is at level D. Now it's all for IAS. Now it's time for IFRS, International Financial Reporting Standards. Starting with IFRS 1, we have first time adoption of IFRS. Then we have IFRS 2, share-based payment, a very, very important standard considering the UK perspective, because if the companies have to retain their employees or they have to give some sort of incentive, then they also offer them shares. They also give them shares so they can work with the company for next few years. That is basically share-based payment. So if you are going to pay them in shares, in either in equity or cash or with choice of settlement, so how you are going to record them, how you are going to treat them basically, that is your share-based payment basically. IFRS 3, we have business combination, a part of consolidation. We need to talk about in detail about different methods of consolidation, acquiring of different stakes. For example, if you acquire 40% shares or 51% share or 100% share, or you dispose of share, how you are going to treat them, how you are going to talk about, how you can recognize them in your financial statements basically. What about IFRS 4? Insurance contracts basically. Not one. Obviously, this involved just basics of IFRS 4. Insurance contract. That is at D level. IFRS 5, non-current assets held for sale and discontinued operation. What is held for sale? Is it different from discontinued operation or not? Or what are differences between held for sale and discontinued operation? IFRS 6, that is basically about exploration for an evaluation of mineral resources. Again, just a very basic awareness you need for this topic. IFRS 7, financial instruments, basically talking about disclosures, part of financial instruments. IFRS 8, segment reporting, operating segments, basically. Let's say your company is operating in different regions. It is operating in UK, operating in USA, operating in GCC countries. So how you need to disclose the result, how you can present the results of different regions basically. If you meet a particular criteria, so there is basically a criteria. If you meet out the criteria, then definitely you can record them as operating segments. You can go for their results. Either you have to present them separately or you have to combine their results. Then IFRS 9, we have financial instruments, basically. Financial instruments. IFRS 10, that is consolidated financial statements. IFRS 11, joint arrangements as well. Here, we will talk about jointly controlled entities, jointly controlled assets, jointly controlled operations. What are differences between these three terms? Then we will talk about IFRS 12, disclosure of interest in other entities. IFRS 13, fair value measurement. What is fair value? How we can measure them, basically. What are different levels of fair values? Then we have IFRS 14, regulatory deferral accounts. Again, that is at C level, that requires a very small understanding of this topic, basically. Then we have one of the very famous standards, IFRS 15 and IFRS 16, basically. IFRS 15, that is revenue from contract with customers, how you can record the revenue. Either it needs to be recognized at once or it needs to be recognized over the period of time. What about leases? How you can record right of use asset? How you can talk about different perspectives of lease, complexities of lease, basically. IFRS 17, insurance contract. Again, that is at C level, very small understanding what you need. Then we have IFRS for SMEs, and then IFRS 1 and IFRS S1 and IFRS S2, basically. And these are related with sustainability and climate related disclosures. And you need to be very good with this perspective because ICAEW is paying a huge amount of attention towards sustainability, towards your CSR, basically. So these were the standards, these were the perspectives from reporting side, basically, which included IAS and IFRS, basically. In audit side, if I talk about in audit side, let me share this. Audit includes all of your areas, but in corporate reporting, your areas which are tested, which are part of it, you need basics, but you also need them at advanced level, advanced audit. More important is basically practical or application. Application of knowledge. Here, practical mean application of knowledge, basically. So simply having the basics or awareness of advanced audit will not work out. So you must be good with application of your knowledge because you will be given some scenarios of different clients and then you have to apply your audit rules. Here in audit, we will be talking about the risks. It will involve audit risk and business risk as well. Further, we will be talking about procedures, audit procedures, substantive procedures, analytical procedures. What about reporting side? What impact it would be having? For example, if as an auditor, you propose some adjustments and client do not account for those adjustments into your financial statement, so what you need to do? How you need to record them? Either there will be an impact on audit report or not, basically. Either you have to modify your audit opinion or not. So these are some important considerations, some key considerations of audit, which we are going to discuss in our sessions, basically. Either we are talking about basics or advanced audit, each and everything would be covered in our sessions. And regarding ethics, ethics are basically rules or principles. Ethics are principles. And obviously, we are going to talk about ethics. What are ethics, ethical concerns, ethical issues? So we need to discuss them in detail. And we are going to look at those perspectives in a detailed fashion in our sessions. First of all, we will talk about knowledge side of ethics, and then we will be looking at some of the examples from our question bank and past papers. So that's all from my side. I hope you would be enjoying this. If you have any query or any point, then you can contact us at the details as I shared. I wish you good luck for your exams. Thank you. Have a good day.